Welcome to the prompt for major essay project number 1. So I'm going to read through this prompt and I'll pause periodically to explain and elaborate the different components of it. Before I get into it though, I want to go back to the quotation or one of the quotations that I included at the very top of the syllabus. So the first quotation was by this writer, Zadie Smith, and she has an essay called Fail Better, and in that essay she has this very important statement. The very reason I write is so that I might not sleepwalk through my entire life. So as I mentioned in the explanation video of the syllabus, I really like the way that Zadie Smith characterizes writing here. She's not just treating it as a way to communicate or transmit information, she's treating it as a way to pay closer attention to ourselves and the world around us. So this essay project is a way to begin doing that. So let me go ahead and start reading it. Construct an essay of at least 4 full pages that informs your audience about a value that is important to you, establishes your personal definition of the value, and demonstrates an intricate understanding of how your personal history or experiences have contributed to its creation and evolution. So let's dissect this a little bit. There are 3 parts to this sentence here, so let's look at the first part. Construct an essay of at least 4 full pages that informs your audience about a value that is important to you. So the central thing that we're trying to accomplish in this essay is to decide on a value that it has a significance to us. So we can have a whole set of values that we live by, but usually there are a few that have a bigger role than the others. Now what a value is, let's interrogate this word a little bit. A value is a belief or a principle or a moral, something that we hold to be important, something that helps us approach our lives. It dictates the choices we make, the types of situations that we find ourselves in, the things that we are drawn to. So they're guiding principles for our lives, right? They influence our behavior, how we conduct ourselves. So there are a lot of different kinds of values. Some examples might be love, kindness, compassion, justice, family, faith, artistic expression, intellectual pursuit. There are any number of different values that a person can have, right? And so this is going to be personal to you. So you're going to have to take a look and see, what do you hold to be important, and ultimately what is the value that you want to explore in this essay project. Now the second component is we need to establish a personal definition of the value. Now there's of course dictionary definitions of values, but it's going to also vary just based on your own experience, right? So let's take love, for example. So there are a lot of different definitions and kinds of love, and it's going to depend on the person and their experiences and attitudes and all kinds of things that go into that, right? So you're going to need to figure out, what is your own personal definition of this value? How are you defining it? Now, of course, you can take pieces from different definitions and combine them. We call that synthesis, where you're taking different parts from different things and putting them together to create something new. But you're ultimately going to need to figure out, what is your definition of this value. So you're going to want to spell it out to your reader very clearly and explore all the different facets of that definition. Now the third component, we want to demonstrate an intricate understanding of how your personal history or experiences have contributed to the value's creation and evolution. So an intricate understanding means that it's very nuanced, right? You're really probing deeply into your understanding of how your personal history or experiences have gone into the creation and evolution of this value, right? So the things that we hold to be important are very much contingent upon and influenced by our personal histories and experiences, right? Our past, the things that we've gone through, the different hardships we may have faced, the different positive experiences, the people that we've encountered, places we've been, all of those things go into what we hold to be important, right? But also, oh, my timer for my laundry is going off. Yeah, look at that. Your teacher's a real person just like you, does laundry. Okay, I'll deal with that later. So also we want to look at the evolution of our value. So if you look back, you may have held a certain value for many, many years, but when you look back at, say 5 or 10 years ago, it's probably changed, right? Based on the experiences that you've had since, right? So you're also going to want to see how has it changed as you've aged or gotten more mature or wiser, hopefully wiser. But you're going to want to look at that as well, right? So let me continue reading here. This essay project is your chance to put into practice all of the concepts we've been reading and learning about so far this term. Be sure to review your notes and reread important selections we've covered from Habits of the Creative Mind. Resist your familiar habits and practices as writers. Try something new and exciting, follow your curiosity, take risks, and attempt to have fun while composing this essay. So I didn't mean this last part to be sarcastic. I really do encourage you to try to have fun with your writing, especially if you're resisting your familiar habits and practices as writers. So one of the key concepts we've been reading and learning about from Habits of the Creative Mind is following our curiosity, so really probing deeply into the things that we encounter, but also to have a commitment to working at the edge of our own understanding, right? So if we think of our own understanding as a circle and we're in the middle of that circle, if we're only staying in the middle of that circle, our circle's not expanding, right? The things that we are familiar with or comfortable with are going to be generally the same. But if we're committed to working at the edge of that circle, then we can see that there's more beyond the edge, right? And so then we're constantly expanding the circle of what's familiar to us and what we're comfortable with, and therefore we're experiencing and learning new things, right? So that's one thing. Another thing, though, is we're trying to move past the limiting nature of the 5-paragraph essay structure, right? So that's something that you've read about this week. The 5-paragraph essay structure is a good starting point, but it's kind of like training wheels, right? When we're riding a bike or learning how to ride a bike, we might need training wheels at first, but in order to really experience the full potential of the bike, we have to kick those training wheels off at a certain point, right? So we're moving beyond the 5-paragraph essay structure because it's a very limiting form, right? So that's one familiar habit that we're trying to resist. We're trying to move beyond. I want you all to try something new and exciting with your writing. So maybe try a different approach to the way that you compose. I'm also encouraging you to follow your curiosity. So of course this is something where we're going to need to take a look inside of ourselves. This is a personal essay in a lot of senses because you're looking at a personal definition of something that you hold to be important. So you want to follow your curiosity into that, look deeply into yourself. We want to take risks with our writing, so trying new things again, taking risks. Ultimately, that's how we learn. And that's one thing that we've been learning about with the growth mindset and learning from failure, right? So taking risk is very much a part of the learning process. And then when we do that, we can potentially have some fun while we're composing. Okay, well, I'm going to go take care of my laundry and end this video right here, but I'm going to come back and then I'm going to talk about these challenges in a new video. So stay tuned.